Hello YouTube friends, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you some starter tips on how to manage your meters in Street Fighter 6, which is something we always hear about and we know it's important, but how exactly is this done? I'm going to get you thinking about health bars, drive meters and super meters today, and these are things that helped me during my Road to Master series, which you can start watching up here. Hopefully you find these tips helpful, and if you do get anything out of the video, please drop me a like, subscribe and ring the bell icon. It's all free. Now the first rule of meter management is to not waste your drive meter. There's no point in learning to check your bars if you're going to spend your currency like it's nothing, and the quickest way to waste your drive meter is by using overdrive abilities without purpose. Here are some situations that are best avoided for overdrive moves. Number 1. As a combo ender, especially if it's a short combo. For example, heavy punch into OD fireball, heavy punch into OD DP. Generally, any combo that is just one hit into an OD move that ends there isn't a great return for your investment. If you have time to catch someone with a heavy punch, you probably have enough time to confirm into a big punch counter combo. So don't forget to lab your bread and butters. There are exceptions of course, for example, throw characters have really good OD command grabs. Number 2, this one's obvious, but don't use it after a perfect parry. The damage scaling from a perfect parry is so massive, there's no way you can justify the cost to damage ratio, unless you know for certain that spending your resources will just about get you the finish. Now here are some good reasons for using overdrive moves. Number 1, as a wake up option or a get off me move. You'll generally have the space to move away or continue pressure to allow your meter to refill after catching someone in an ODDP. Number 2, as a combo extender. Ask yourself, is the overdrive move the only way to extend your combo or the only way to link a super? A yes to either of these questions means it's definitely a worthwhile way to use an OD ability. Number 3, if it gives you plus frames even if it's blocked, allowing you to keep your pressure going. This is a great use of OD because pressure and momentum is important in Street Fighter. And finally, is this OD move something you've used sparingly enough for it to be a surprise when you pull it out? This surprise is usually most effective near the end of a round when tensions are high, and a quick OD move is not expected. None of these reasons are hard rules you need to abide by, but they are good things to think about when you're learning a new character to build a foundation for how you use OD with purpose. Right, now that you've learned to conserve your drive meter, you'll actually have some resources to manage. Let's start off with some super basic stuff. When is it a good time to check your meters, your opponent's meters, or both? I've split these into situations when it's your advantage and when you're at a disadvantage. For your advantage, number 1, when you land any drive impact. This includes a normal crumple, a drive impact reversal, a war splat, and especially when you get a dizzy. Number 2, when you've correctly baited a DP, you have plenty of time to flash a look at your drive meter whilst they're in the air. And when you start your combo, you can take a look at your super meter to see what kind of finishes you have. Number 3, when you land a DP. Number 4, when you land a throw. And number 5, when you land a super. Listen friends, I know the animations are great in SF6 and you want to enjoy all the bright colours and sick angles when you land a drive impact or a super, but these moments I listed are good times to flash a look at your drive meter and your super bar to decide what combos are available to you. And by available to you, I mean something that won't burn you out unless it's going to end the round, or you still have a massive life lead during your burnout. You don't have to check it in all of these situations in every match, but pick a couple to get yourself started. There's also big pockets of time for you to check your meters when you're at a disadvantage. As I talk through these examples, test yourself and try to dart your eyes at the drive meter and back to the action. Number 1, when you get thrown. Number 2, when you're falling near the tail end of a big combo. I mention the tail end of the combo because your opponent might make a mistake with their timings, and you want your eyes on them during that situation. Number 3, when a super has landed on you. There's enough time to check your opponent's meter here too. Number 4, when you get caught in an anti-air that knocks you down, for example, a DP or flash kick. And number 5, when someone is zoning you with fireballs and you're parrying or returning your own fireballs. These are all great moments to check on your meters to see if you have any wake-up options like an ODDP, super or drive reversal. Meter management isn't just about being aware of your own resources. As I mentioned briefly earlier, you should also take the time to see what's happening with your opponent's drive meter and super bars. If you can see that they have super bars available after you've landed something big, you can consider baiting it to make them whiff. Or if you see that they only have 1 or 2 drive bars left, start attacking their drive bar. You don't need big openings to do this. You can go into the lab, set the dummy to block everything and just press buttons to see which moves are most effective at draining their drive meter. Look out for moves that leave you at most in a -3 frame state. You can block the opponent's fastest normals after pressing this. If it leaves you in -4, make sure you catch the opponent at the tip of the normal, because anything that can touch you will probably be too slow. And of course, anything that leaves you in a plus state lets you keep your pressure going. Now that you're more aware of your resources, it's time to start breaking down your combos into chunks. Every character has massive combos that cash in on everything, usually involving 2 drive rush cancels. Go into the lab and practice your favorite bread and butter with just 1 drive rush cancel. You might be in a situation where you've baited a DP and you only have 3.5 drive meters available to you. This is a great time to use the shorter version of the combo you've been practicing and still have some drive meter left over. After that, set your drive meter to 5 bars and 4 bars and test what you can get from these states without cashing out. And there will be times when cashing out is worth the risk. The most obvious example of this is when you end your combo with a super, and if the combo will put your opponent in a burnout state. Also, if you will have a massive life lead from cashing out and you're confident you can defend a comeback, go for it. By the way, if you didn't know, advancing onto your opponent and staying grounded helps you to recover from burnout faster. So if you've got good Oki or momentum, it might be better to stay in your opponent's face instead of running away during burnout. So I've talked a lot about looking at your meters, health, super bars and your opponent's meters. You can start slow. Eventually you'll take in the information very quickly as you condition yourself. And as you get more comfortable, you'll find you have so much time to look around. But during a match, you should only be taking your eyes off your opponent around 5 to 10% of the time, if that. Most of your attention should always be on your opponent so you can react quickly to whatever their intentions are. And just as a final reminder, these are only some baseline tips to start you off. Doesn't mean you're a bad player if you don't do these things, doesn't mean you're a good player if you do these things. It's just to get you aware of meter management, and somewhere along the way, you will find your own flow and methods for doing this. And eventually, going into burnout will become less of a surprise. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid burnout entirely. It has to happen sometimes. The goal is to put it under your control as much as possible. Anyway, I hope this video helped you out. If you have any suggestions on meter management, feel free to share your tips below. As always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.